A Brantford daycare that shut down after a dead bat with rabies was discovered inside has been given the green light to reopen. Health officials say the building is now safe to be used for regular operations after an inspection over the weekend. CTV's Hannah Schmidt on this story once again for us tonight, joining us live now with more. Okay, Hannah, let's go through some of the steps that were taken before children were welcomed back today.
Well, Tony, the daycare was given the all clear from Grand Erie Public Health following a full inspection and work done by wildlife crews, which included checking entry points, completing structural repairs, and discarding anything that may have been subject to contamination. Now, the extensive work was completed all in an effort to ensure no bats were left behind and no others could make their way inside.
What started with a deceased bat with rabies inside this Brantford daycare ended with a full public health sweep. Now, children are back inside the classrooms.
My first priority is the safety of the children, and that's how I reacted. We're happy to see the children's faces. It brings a smile across our face.
Creative Minds Daycare confirmed the dead bat was found in a room for preschool-aged children last Monday, and just one day later, there was another sighting of a bat, this time alive and flying around one of the daycare's hallways.
That's when I contracted one of my contractors to come in and seal every hole and crevice in the building as the building is older, and also met with GNC Care, who looked after our deep cleaning.
Parents were alerted to the situation through an app the daycare uses to communicate with caregivers and guardians. Grand Erie Public Health says a small group of people came into direct but low-risk contact with the dead bat, including a child who handled it. They were given precautionary rabies shots, a series of 4 doses.
There was still thankfully no high-risk contact, such as a bite or scratch, that was ever reported during our investigation. The overall risk does still remain low in our region as well as throughout the province.
The daycare temporarily closed on August 13th. Since then, the owner says they had been working with public health officials to take proactive steps.
We're going to move forward with policies and procedures to know what it looks like if we see a bat, what happens, what's the protocol, who to call, and the staff know what to look for.
Over the weekend, a public health inspector went room by room, checking for signs of bat activity and ensuring safety standards are being met.
So the structural modifications were assessed to ensure that any potential entry or re-entry points were now blocked off. The public health inspector also performed all routine inspections from a infection prevention and control compliance standpoint, and all criteria were met.
If you follow the brick all the way to the top, there's a big metal flashing up there. So beneath that flashing, there's a small gap. And keep in mind, they only need about the size of a dime.
Wildlife crews also checked the property, sealing off any entry points and making sure no more bats were inside.
We didn't find any other bats. We seal up the entire perimeter of the building and then install these devices that we've pioneered called one-way doors that allow the bats to exit, but then they can't get back in.
The daycare calls the ordeal a learning process and says moving forward, communication with parents will be front and center. Approximately 145 children are cared for at the center.
Today has been a very supportive day. It also has been a very informative day in the aspect of looking at the things that as a company owner that I may have missed. Their children are the most important thing to them, and we need to make sure that their children are the most important thing to us.
Again, the center is operating as normal. Daycare staff say the safety steps put in place now will remain moving forward, including daily inspections for bats, which will be conducted by staff before children enter the building. Tony.
Okay, CTV's Hannah Schmidt with new reporting on that story for us tonight. Hannah, thank you.